Hey, shalom. Yabashim Yashabakta to all my brothers. Yahweh Shemar Alatha Bashim Yahushua. To all my sisters. Once again, this is ISUK, Upstate New York, coming to you live. It's the Friday night Last Down Kadash. That is the ancient tongue, the holy language, of course, though, of our people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is the language I'm saying that we had before it was stripped from us, it was stolen from us. We went into captivity, of course, though, and we learned, languages that was not of our forefathers. You understand? And the importance of all this right now, like right now, we have in America what's known as what? 4th of July, Independence Day. Now, we're going to go out, we're going to celebrate fireworks, all that other stuff, cookout, whatever, and be no closer to stopping the affliction that has been plaguing us as a people. No step closer to, stopping our women from being whores, stopping our brothers from, the gangbanging, stopping, the police harassment, stopping, the politicians from, reaching in our pockets and taking money, of course, though. Diverting funds, from our school systems, towards some private, investment for whoever. All these things are going on, of course, though, and we aren't, keeping our laws. We aren't keeping our language. We're not keeping our heritage, who we are as a people. So it's important, that we're in this class, of course, though, and that we learn, our language. So when we greet brothers, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, or we greet sisters, Yahweh Shemar Alatha Bashim Yahushua, or we send up the prayers, Abanawa Shabashmanari Kadash. Like when we do these things, of course, though, we do it, to the glory of the Most High. We do it to the glory, that it's something for us to be proud of. We get proud, to go out. What is it? The U.S. trials, just finished for the Olympics, right? You got all these people out there, competing to go to Tokyo, of course, though, catch coronavirus and whatever else, though. And with that being said, they're going to put that red, white, and blue, the stripes on. And of course, 1776, where were we? Still in chains, still in shackles, still, picking cotton on the plantations, of course, though, being raped, being molested. You understand? We were being dehumanized, of course, though. And that's how we're still looked at as today, of course, though. So the significance and importance for us to be in these classes is massive. It's huge. Because what are we going to pass on to our children? How to be servants? Scripture says, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? So if we're not, then how do we change that? And of course, that comes, by us taking back our identity. That comes by us, learning who we are. Getting into these scriptures, of course, though. Taking the time to, greet brothers, of course, though, the way that we greet one another. Not, how Esau tells us to greet. Not trimming our ways, to seek the love and approval of other nations and other people. If you look at, all the other nations that have come to this country, America and whatnot, they don't change who they are. Right, the month of June was Gay Pride, or Pride Month, as they would say. Just Pride Month now. The same month of Juneteenth, of course. And what is it? People who are pride or proud or whatever, they're not trimming their ways. Look, I'm coming out. I'm expressing who I am. I'm expressing, the fact is that I'm in a same-sex relations. That's the things, that has been pushed on, of course, though. Why should we suppress who we are? Our heritage, our tongue, we shouldn't be suppressing that at all. What we should be doing, of course, though, is standing up and being proud of who we are, our heritage, of course, though. And not stop letting some other, nation, some other group of people, of course, though, who have stolen our identity, continue to parade around and, like they're us. A masquerade. Oh, we're Jewish. Oh, well, we're the true Jews according to the scriptures, according to the Bible. You understand? right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it though. So the first thing that we always do, of course, though, we start out, with the alphabet, of course. Salakia, because I've been doing the ancient, of course, though, but I have not been jumping into the Assyrian. So it's important that we know both, the ancient and the Assyrian, because what happens is that when we read the text, most of the text, you're going to see it in the Assyrian. So we need to be able to recognize it and identify it, of course, though. I'm going to write it, of course, by hand. So it's going to look slightly different, than the script. But you'll be able to identify it and recognize it for the most part. When I was at my slave the other day, I saw some lady on her phone, and I'm watching her, read stuff in Hebrew. I kind of looked over and peeked, like, okay, all right. I mean, I see what you got there, of course, though, but, I ain't engaged, I'm not my slave, though, so I'll let that be, of course, but I was reading it. I was reading along, of course, following, So they're studying, to show themselves, when that's what we should be doing. We should be studying this day in and day out, practicing, saying the ah, the ba, the ga, the ha, the, all the way down, to the tha. So with that, let's start out. All right. So that's how I'm gonna write it for now, so that Akim and Aquath, could just get it overall. That's this first line, is the ancient. That's the script. It looks a little different. It's like the ah just kind of like the X, but all right. So that's the ah, of course. So as we look and read, of course, though, this right here is read. The Hebrew is read from right to left. We write from right to left. Okay? So as we look at this, we have the ah. This is the Assyrian, and of course, this is the letters, of course, though, in the English stuff. So these are actually characters, by the way. So that's just one thing to also understand and realize too. Though we don't have letters, we actually have characters. So like the I, which is like an ox head, right? So if you the I, which is like an ox head, if you just turn it to the side, tilt it, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the horns. Of course, the ba, you know what I'm saying, which is representative like a tent. Um, so you'll start to realize, and we'll get into a little deeper, of course, though with time, the meanings of each characters and where they came from, and also um, how to be able to read. You know what I'm saying? The Assyrian, like like I said, I was at my slave, and I'm watching this, this heathen, of course, though she's reading the Assyrian, and I'm looking kind of like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm certain that she was reading the Bible, but it was a little difficult to kind of tell from where I was standing. So not to get too intrusive. Nah, so make sure you're saying that you're writing this down. Make sure that you have this. You should have this as part of your alphabet, of course. Um, if you don't have the alphabet, send me email out. Uh, I mean, ISUK Syracuse at Gmail, Gmail, gmail.com. Send the email out. You know what I'm saying? ISUK Syracuse at gmail.com. Um, we'll be sure, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that you get, the Hebrew alphabet. If you don't have it, that way you can follow along, of course. You can see the difference. And of course, this is what I was saying. When you look at this right here, this is the Assyrian. This is the script. This right here is handwritten. So as you can see, like the ah, you know, I think it's kind of close. Um, but nonetheless, though, you know what I'm saying. Make sure y'all following along. Get writing this. I'm getting into your notes, of course. All right, give y'all a couple more seconds. You know what I'm saying, to jot that down real quick. Okay, we got some space over there. Keep keep going. of course, you know what I'm saying, you got the why. Now, once again, like, it's important to know, you know what I'm saying, like that is angled, of course. Like, um, I mean, we could do the same thing where we actually do, you know, like the writings, of course, though, where we do the, you know, like this, right? And of course, this is like if you're trying to practice that writing. I don't know if you can really see it, but if you get closer here, what you see is that, you know, it's just kind of like it's one of those like this. I'm gonna do this really big. Right? So now, if you was writing a da, you know, and you're following the instructions, which is starting here, you would just oh, cool. That's all I just kind of did right here with that. That's it. All right. So yeah, yes, I had this written down by now, so I'm going to go ahead and erase this off the board. I'm going to put up the rest of the alphabet. As I said before, though, this is something that we should be studying, throughout the week. You got a lunch break. Take a few minutes on your lunch, of course. Like I said, study to show thyself approved. So the one thing I also, want to point out with this here, um, slide. Let me. All right. So of course you'll say you got the ta, that is in the Assyrian, the alphabet. You got the ya. Now if you ever, so you know how you got like that what is it in the script it looks like a apostrophe. Looks like apostrophe though. But when you write it out, it just kind of looks like a 90-degree, you know what I'm saying, corner. The ya. Now, this right here, this is ka. Ka. The significance of ka. Right? This is the soft ka, not the hard ka that we got over here with katazah. It's like, well, it's katazah, just katazah, but the hard ka sound. This is that soft, you know what I'm saying, ka sound, of course. But what we realize is that there's two markings here, right? And the significance, of course, though, is that when you're reading, you'll see this ka right here anytime that it is in the middle of a word or the beginning of a word, of course, though. The only time, right? The only time that you see this is at the end. This is the indication of the end of a word. That is at the end. Okay? So, if this was if it's at, you'll know that you're at the end of the word. Now you gotta be a little careful. I mean, it should be kind of straightforward, especially the handwritten, of course, because the na looks a little similar, but the na is similar to the wa, right? And it's obvious the difference though. Like you see how this wa right here is like that, right? Well, the significance, right? So if this is the end of the line, like if you're writing, and this is the same thing that pertains here, like you're going to see this extend below the line. That's how you know that this is a ka at the end of the word. That's how you know that this is the na at the end of the word and not a wa. Because the wa stops at the line. The na goes beyond the line. So a bun, right? So if we were saying, for example, ba, right? And that's obviously connected, which is the bun. When we were to, if we were to write this in the script, right? It's going to now once again, significance of this line, because it is at the end of the word, it will be like that. so that you know that this is the na and not the wa. All right. A bun. So we'll get into this a little deeper, of course, though, throughout the class and everything. But for right now, just to know that this ka right here, that is a ka. It extends below the line. All right. So make it a little note. If you got to do one of those things where you do like boom, and then or you know how you be like reading words, of course, though, and it'd be like number one, all right, one, and then down at the bottom it's one, and then there's a whole explanation. Shoot, put a one next to this, and then put an explanation of what I just said. Write that down, in a little paragraph. All right. I can't see that. So what this says right here, it's the one that's associated right here. So if we was to just pay attention, follow me for a second. Well, you shouldn't follow me nonetheless, though. But just work with me for a second. So that's the one, right? And then at the notes or the footnotes, whatever, it is used at end of word. So if you're at the end of the word, then you should use that characteristic when you're writing the Assyrian versus if you were just writing just the ancient itself. Though. So that's the significance of that. Use at end of word. Now the second part, which I was attempting to also add there as well, is that it extends below the line. So you'll recognize it with time, but you should know that it extends below the line that you're writing on, of course, though. So that is the ka right there. You see several, I think there's like 5 characters in the Hebrew that actually does this, where they extend below the line. So like this right here, this is the na, you know what I'm saying? It extends below the line. And of course, this is going to be written, that's a bun. That's an H if y'all was wondering. There you go. A bun. All right, slide it. So enough of that. the Ma is another one actually. Salagi. The Ma is another one. So let me adjust this. We're already there. All right. So once again, the difference with this one, this doesn't extend below the line, by the way. Salagi. But this is at the end of the word. So I would write the one, so that I know that this footnote applies to it, right? If you're looking at your notes and you go back, it's like, oh, why is there a one there? Or why is there two, I guess symbols or characters, in regards pertaining to the Assyrian? Well, that's because the Ma, when you look at it in the Assyrian, the first part of the first Ma, which is all throughout, has it's like I don't even like the way I wrote this one, because I always look at it like this. So the significant piece of hip slot. All right. So yeah, when it comes to the Ma, you have this right here, this is not closed. This is open. And then of course, when it's at the end of the word, it's I'm like an apple, or like a square, slightly rounded, I guess. Um, but it is fully closed. All right, that is one of the differences that we need to remember, pay attention to when it comes down to the Assyrian versus, the rest of the alphabet. Of course, that brings us right over to I'm saying the Na. All right. So the Na, same thing here. Of course, that's another one. All right. So once again, this is the na in the Assyrian, and this extends below the line. It is at the end of the word. I put the one again, so when I look at my footnote, the one used at end of word. So the example, a bun, the ah, the ba, the na, a bun. This is how it's spelled. Of course, the bond is, connected. Now this one, the sa, which is also, the sa, you know what I'm saying? It's also one that you have to be mindful not to get it confused with the ma, because at the end of the word ma, it is closed, but once again, it's more of a square, right? Or rectangular. The sa is circular with a little tilde, you know what I'm saying, or apple leaf, you know what I'm saying, coming off at the end. So like, I think of this, I look at it as like, oh, it's an orange. So like this is more like a pear, maybe an apple, I don't know, what is it? I haven't had an apple in a while, so I couldn't tell you, but they got those apples, you know what I'm saying, that's squarish. I know what I'm referring to. Right? That's the I. Like, take a moment and see, just write that down in the notes. All right, so I, of course, then we got Pa. taking it long to drop. All right. So this same thing applies when it comes down to um, this portion of the alphabet as well. All right. So if you notice right here with the pa, there's there's the two different characters when it comes down to the Assyrian. Now what we're seeing here, I put the 1 and the 2, right? So if you got your footnotes, it has 2 notes to pay attention to. One, the pa right here is to be used at the end of a word, right? And then the second part is that it extends below the line. So if you're actually, once again, going back to your notes and everything else, it's similar, you know what I'm saying, to when you're looking in the dictionary, right? There'll be certain annotations there for you to follow. Well, those annotations right there, such as 1 and 2, is letting you know, 1, use at the end of the word, 2, it extends below the line. So if you write a pa or a tazah and it does not extend below the line, then obviously you're not doing it right. No different than the na when it comes to, so I should have even done it right here too. All right. So you'll see the 1, 2, of course, and that's the way that you should have it in your notes. All right. So starting with the pa, right? And then you have the almost what looks like a hangman, right, or upside down G. And then at the end of the word, it's like the hook of an umbrella, just upside down without the umbrella on it. That's the pa, right? Now, when we go over to the taza, once again, at the top, it's like a flag. It's like a line or an I with a Z that does not touch the second portion of the zag does not touch the line. And we should always note that and pay attention. When we write the Assyrian in the script, of course, though, you can see the first taza. It's like a slanted L and a Y. But you see the second, taza, of course, though, it's like a Y that just extends below the line. It's a backwards Y or flipped Y, more or less, though. When you look at it from the English dictionary, of course, of the English alphabet, looks like a backwards version of the Y. Then we have the qua, right? Now, the significance of this, of course, though, becomes that script, which it looks like an R with an unfinished leg. So as you can look at it and see, it has the first portion to it. And don't make the mistake of doing this. Because this right here is not rock. Now do this a little bit bigger. Like, that's not rock. I'm saying that looks like a that's not qua, it's like it. That looks like a backwards ra. That's not even complete. I don't even know what that is. It's like a knife or something that you're getting ready to go, frost a cake or something like that. So the fullness of it that's the short leg, that's the long leg. So the fullness of the rock looks like that. So make sure y'all write this down and make sure y'all do it right. Don't be short, the quad. It's locked. I keep saying it because it looks like an R. We're used to seeing the R's, of course. That's the way the R looks like in English, don't it? Yeah, it is. All right, so right. So now we're at the end of the alphabet. Only 2 letters left, or characters left. All right, that's the Shah. All right, so the significance of this right here, right? This is the this is the Shah, and as you can see this, it's like a pitchfork, right? So you got this one right there, and then you got another. They come to the same point, right? And of course, the third one also does what? It comes to the same point as well. So that right there, that is the shah in the script. There's no mistaking that. Like I said, it looks more like a, if you were to put like a handle, see that? It looks like the fork, you know what I'm saying, for picking up and moving the barrels of hay, something like the farmer would use. Make sure you gotta do the shot right. Now, this here, the thigh, right? We have to be careful with the thigh that we don't get the thigh, you know what I'm saying, confused with ka. Now, how do we not confuse it, of course, right? Because, and it's like if I showed you the ka incorrectly, the ka is more so like this. This is what the ka is more like. All right, that's what the ka is more like. And of course, that's the ka, and then the ha, which again, that is not connected. There's no connection between here. There's a space. I want to make sure that y'all can see that. There's a space. So when you see tha, do not be out there saying ha ha wum. It's da for da ha wum, right? And Shalakia, I did make the ka look a little different, but the ka, you know what I'm saying, this is what it should be looking like in the script. Yeah. So for today, you know what I'm saying, one of the things, you know, that we should take away, you know, is using the Assyrian and also using the ancient. So we'll do a few things right here. All right, we're going to write down, we're going to do something basic, such as numbers. Been paying attention to class, you got all this written down, of course. All right. So if you're watching and paying attention, what we just did, 1, 2, 3, Akkad, the the Ka, the Da, the Assyrian, right? In the script, the the Ka. I don't want to start sitting there and be like, oh, well, he did that wrong. Nah, that's that right there. That's the Da, which is Akkad, which is 1. So it's like I believe Captain Akkad Abraham, right? So he's like the first son of Israel, like he's the first of Israel. If I'm correct, that's the meaning of his name, though. So, but I'll double check when you confirm. 2, which is Shanya, the Shah and the Na, which is conjoined. The Shah, the Na, and as you can see, this is not the Na at the end of the word. So it doesn't, have that special where it drops below the line, but it's Shanya, which is 2. So Akkad, Shanya, and then we have 3, which is Shalash, right? It's the Shah, the La, and the Shah again. But the Shah and the La at the end of the word are conjoined. And we see that, with this connector. We've seen it with Akkad, we've seen it with Shanya, and we've seen it with Shalash. And if we pay attention, at the Akkad, so the Ka and the Da, the Ah drops off, it's at the end. There's nothing special, to add to the end of the word because that's just the way it is. Shanya, right? The Shan, the Na drops off the Ah at the end, so it's Shan, and then Ya, that's because of the connector. And then the same thing with Shalash. So we got the Shah, which is the full character, the Lash, like Lash Dan Kodash, but Shalash. So 1, 2, 3, Akkad, Shanya, Shalash. If we was to sit there and do this kind of like accounting, it'd be like Akkad, Shanya, Shalash, Arabai, Kamash. So, hey, I'm going to do a 10 count, right? Kids, go high. I'm going to count down from 10. So it'd be Aishara, the Shai, Shamawana, Shabai, Shasha. It's like it. Kamash, Arabai, Shalash, Shanya, Akkad. All right? So if we were to write this down again, we're going to add the letter 4. Arabai, which is 4. All right? Make sure you write that down. We'll keep moving. Try to get you up to at least 20 real quick. I mean, we got enough time. It's half an hour at least to the class. None with it. Shabbat, which is 7, right? So we have Kamash, which is 5. We have Shashah, which is 6, and then we have Shabbat, which is 7. So make sure you're writing this down. You get these as part of your notes. Most likely, I ain't bringing it up. It should be obvious, but 5, 6, 7. That's 8. So once again, just a recap, of course, though so far, when we're reading the Hebrew, we read from right to left. When we write from right to left. Same thing when we're looking at the Assyrian, it's from right to left, of course, though. But when it comes down to actual characters, what we're seeing now is from left to right, which is just the language of the English, left to right. Same thing here, 8, 7, 6, 5. That's the same thing. We go from left to right. All right. 8. It's like you ran out a little space here. All right, so um, the shy, the shy, the shy. As you can see, the shy and the eye are connected, of course. So the eye drops off, the eye is connected. This is 9. All right. Now, this next one, everybody should be somewhat familiar with, just because you hear it every class. Ishara. So my Ishara, which is 10th, right? It means 10th in Hebrew. So 10% of every penny of any increase gives to the priest department. So Ishara is 10. So my Ishara is 10%. It is a portion. So give a portion of 10%. That is 10. And then we have the Ah, the Ka, the Da, the Sha, the Ra. All right? So in this right here, it's a Kad. Slide. That connector is in the wrong spot. That's where the connector should be. That's where the connector should be right there. So a Kad Shara. So a Kad Shara is 11. So we know a Kad is 1, right? We know that a Kad is 1. What did I just write? It's like this is not 11. This is what I'm just gonna erase this. What was missing was the I. So 1 in 10, right? I'm just gonna use this page right here. It's much bigger. So the I, the Ka, and of course the Da, right? That is combined. And then of course now we take Ishara. We add I, Sha, Ra. Okay, that's all I need. So good. So now, writing this down, in the Assyrian, once again, Ka, Da, I, Sha, Ra. Boom. Becomes the Kad Ishara. So 1 and 10. So a Kad and 10 becomes Akkad Aishara, which makes 11, right? Well, what would 12 be? You know, Akkad is 1. You know, Aishara is 10. The same principle basically applies throughout the rest of the numbers. So if we're counting from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, we would go Akkad, Shanya, Shalash, Arabah, Kamash, Shasha, Shabai, Shasha, it's like it. Shemai Wana, the Shah, and then Aishara. I mean, it's rather straightforward, especially I'm saying if you have already written down in you've been following throughout the class. So using this as an example, right? Akkad, which is this is 1, and then this is 10, right? You just split that down. Akkad and 10, which is 11. So what would make 12? Should put ISO right in the key. So Shanya, which is 2, right? So if we were to the number 2, which is Shanya, and add it to 10, what should it be? Like, say that again?
God, shine.
La. Akkad is 1, right? So if we get 11 from adding 1 and 10 together, and we know that the number 2 is Shanya, how will we get 12? So we got, right, so what's that in the Hebrew though? So we know Aishara is 10 in the Hebrew, right? And we know that 2 is Shanya. So what would it be to be 12 in Hebrew? Right. But what's that in Hebrew? That's it. That's it. That's exactly what it is, huh? It's Shanya Aishara. So Akkad Aishara and Shanya Aishara combined to make 12 in the Hebrew. So I left, you know what I'm saying, this portion here, you know, Aishara, because it's going to just be Slaki, I missed the nah. Shanya Aishara, which is 2 and 10, right? Of course, you know what I'm saying, you'd have to move all this down and everything else, but because it would be like, it would then be Shanya, right? Aishara. But this would all just be combined. So Shanya Aishara. And then right here, it's the same thing. It's going to be yeah. How much it is? It's like it's part of my shy, you know what I'm saying? My shy sometimes it's wild, sometimes it's just awful. But what we're combining, you know what I'm saying, is these two together. I'm leaving these right here because as we count up, you know what I'm saying, as we count up from 1, 10, which is 11, or 2, 10, which is 12, right? It's 12. Then it becomes what? All right. And of course, 1, 2, 3, which is 3 is shalash. So if we're following that same concept, what's going to be 13 in Hebrew?
You said what's 3?
Shalash.
Last Isaac.
Right.
So some Isaac very done.
That's the basic concept. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're just watching it, of course, though, and you're seeing it as, you know, I write this on the board, Ishura is going to be, you know what I'm saying, the basics more or less, though. Right? Because now we're beyond, you know what I'm saying, 9. So this would continue all the way up to 19, right? Actually, it would go beyond 19 as well, too. We'll get there in a second. So you have you can think of like a prefix and like a suffix. So You can sort of think like a prefix and suffix, though. But all the words, I'm saying, it's just going to continue. Akkad, Ishara. Shanya, Ishara. Shalash, Ishara. Arabah, Ishara. You know what I'm saying? So that was 11, 12, 13, 14. Kamash, Ishara. Shasha, Ishara. Shabai, Ishara, which is 17. Shamawana, Ishara, which is 18. And then the Shai, Ishara, which is 19. Now, once we hit 19, of course, though, we then come to 20, right? So 20, instead of it being Ishara as the suffix, right? Because the prefix is before, you know what I'm saying, the suffix is after, or like the ending, more or less stuff. It becomes Ishara Young. Okay? So, if we understand that this continues on all the way to 19, so when we look at this, of course, though, it's Ishara Young. And of course, you know what I'm saying, the Ya and the Ma is connected. And if we notice, this is the time in which that we can now do this. This is now the time in which we can do this. That's that footnote, you know what I'm saying? That annotation, of course, though, what is that? It is saying use at the end of the word. This right here is the ma at the end of the word, right? It's not the same as the regular ma. And that is the course, you know what I'm saying, for the Assyrian and the script, of course. So if we were to keep going, of course, what now becomes, you know what I'm saying, the suffix of the root, more or less, of the word. Anything else, though, is going to be young. All right? So this here is now our new basis, young. Just clear this out for a quick second. So we'll get into this a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, next week, of course. That way, you know what I'm saying, you don't start into something different. But, you know, make sure, you know what I'm saying, y'all like and subscribe, of course, though, if you haven't. Get into these classes, share this information on the YouTube, on the Facebook, whatever different social medias there is out there. With that being said, pass the class over to Precinct Officer Azar Kayal. Like I said, we'll pick this up next week. Go further in detail.
Security announcements. We had an ISUPK start out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the leadership of Commanding General Johanna. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties with this, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in the Hebrew, Ma'ashara, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher priest fund. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like, upcoming holy convocations.
September 6th.
September the 6th. This is the first day of the 7th month. We got the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. And if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing. Leviticus 23rd chapter, 24th and 25th verse is where you can find the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, scarf. One courteous salute to the teacher, Amajim Shabbat, Amajim Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Brakatah.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Brakatah.
Sorry, give a courtesy salute to the sisters, Amajim Shabbat, Amajim Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Class, Yazimatah, class dismissed.